Europe reacts, the Spanish princess who changed royal fashion forever. The world expected a wedding. What they got was a revolution. Spain's beloved Princess Leonor didn't just walk down the aisle, she walked straight into history. A royal event turned fashion's defining moment. The world watched. Europe reacted. And nothing in royal style would ever be the same again. From the very first glimpse of her wedding gown, the whispers began. The simplicity, the structure, the modern Spanish grace, it wasn't just a dress. It was a statement. A declaration that the monarchy could evolve, that tradition could coexist with a new generation's strength. For decades, royal fashion was about rules. But Leonor broke them beautifully, and in doing so, she rewrote them. The ceremony itself was the picture of modern elegance, held in Denmark, blending the rich heritage of Spain with the refined beauty of the north. Every detail seemed intentional. The color palette whispered royalty without screaming wealth. The fabrics were sourced from Spanish artisans, weaving culture and craftsmanship into every thread. Even her tiara, not her mother Queen Letitia's, nor her grandmother's, was custom-made, designed with subtle modern lines to symbolize her individuality and her future reign. As Leonor stepped out of the royal carriage, the world gasped. The moment was cinematic. Cameras flashed, tears welled, and the internet erupted. Within minutes, her name trended in over 20 countries. Designers called it the birth of a new royal aesthetic. European magazines declared her the princess who made simplicity powerful again. But how did this young royal, barely in her 20s, manage to command such influence, not only across royal courts but through the global fashion industry itself? To understand that, we need to look back. Leonor of Spain was raised in the spotlight, yes, but with purpose. Queen Letizia, a woman known for elegance, discipline, and her background as a journalist, shaped her daughter to understand symbolism. Every outfit Leonor wore as a child, every public engagement she attended, was quietly building toward this moment. The message, grace, modernity, and meaning must coexist. As her wedding approached, that philosophy came alive. Leonor didn't choose a flashy international designer. She went home, to Spanish talent. The designer, whose identity remained a mystery until the day itself, reportedly spent months studying the evolution of Spanish royal fashion, from Queen Isabella to Letizia, to create something that would transcend trends. And it did. The gown was a fusion of history and innovation, a modern silhouette inspired by the medieval Spanish court, paired with minimalist embroidery symbolizing unity and strength. Every fold told a story, not of luxury, but of legacy. While the Spanish press celebrated the gown's craftsmanship, the fashion world couldn't stop talking about what it represented. In an era when royal fashion often followed British or Scandinavian cues, Leonor's look reclaimed Spain's place in Europe's cultural narrative. Suddenly, Spanish couture wasn't just relevant, it was leading. But the reactions weren't only from designers. Across Europe, royal watchers were stunned by what the wedding symbolized. For Spain, it was pride reborn. The monarchy, once criticized for being outdated, now looked dynamic and relatable. For Denmark, it was the merging of two young royals who embodied modern leadership. For the world, it was proof that tradition doesn't have to mean stagnation. Even within the royal family, the emotion was palpable. Queen Letizia was seen holding back tears as her daughter exchanged vows. King Felipe, known for his composure, broke into a rare smile that showed both pride and relief. Behind the elegance and grandeur was something deeply human, a family watching their daughter not just marry, but step fully into her destiny. And then came the aftershock, the influence. Within weeks of the wedding, fashion houses across Europe announced collections, inspired by Leonor's look. In Paris, designers spoke about the Leonor effect, describing how her minimalist Spanish modern style was driving new trends in bridal couture. In Copenhagen, jewelers began crafting pieces echoing the shape of her tiara. In Madrid, boutiques proudly displayed replicas of her veil, woven with the same traditional technique used for Spanish mantillas. Even global influencers, normally drawn to fast fashion, began praising her restraint, her ability to make understatement feel royal again. It wasn't just about the gown anymore. It was about the message. Elegance doesn't shout. It whispers, with confidence. But behind all the glamour and applause, there was also quiet pressure. Could Princess Leonor, the future Queen of Spain, truly carry this new image of royalty into the modern age? Could she live up to the expectations she had now set for every young royal woman watching her? What made her so magnetic wasn't perfection, it was authenticity. The way she held her groom's hand during the vows, the way she smiled shyly at her parents during the reception, the way she looked into the crowd with gratitude rather than entitlement. Those small, unguarded moments told the world that this was not a performance. This was real. As the celebrations continued into the night, the atmosphere shifted from royal protocol to heartfelt celebration. Spanish music filled the air. Guests danced under chandeliers made of glass and light. Even European leaders who attended the event admitted later that they felt something different, something refreshing, about this royal gathering. It wasn't about hierarchy. It was about unity, love, and identity. Days after the ceremony, newspapers across Europe ran headlines calling Leonor, Europe's most modern princess. Vogue declared, she didn't just wear a gown, she wore the future of royal fashion. Fashion historians began comparing her influence to that of Princess Diana, but with a distinctly 21st century twist, quieter, intentional, and globally inclusive. What made it so remarkable was that Leonor didn't seem to seek the spotlight, she earned it by embodying grace in an age of noise. She didn't chase trends, she set them. She didn't demand admiration, she inspired it. And that's what Europe reacted to. Not just her beauty, not just the ceremony, but her symbolism. In an uncertain world, she became a figure of quiet confidence and timeless values. Her wedding didn't just redefine royal fashion. It redefined what it means to lead with elegance, to honor tradition while daring to evolve. And as designers, journalists, and ordinary people alike continue to talk about her, one truth remains: Princess Leonor didn't just step into her role as Spain's future queen. She stepped into history as the young woman who reminded Europe what real royalty looks like, not in jewels or titles, but in authenticity, grace, and the courage to change. This was more than a royal wedding. It was a moment that transformed culture, identity, and style, forever. Because long after the music faded, long after the last flower wilted, and long after the headlines moved on, one image stayed: a young Spanish princess standing at the heart of Europe, radiant, confident, and unshakably herself. The princess who changed royal fashion, and the world, forever.